We'd all gathered at Matt's place for what was supposed to be a casual Saturday night. A mix of old college friends, work buddies, and their partners. The usual beers, barbecue, and harmless banter. My wife, Vanessa, stood beside me, laughing like she always did in public. Bright, charming, perfect. I thought it was a normal night. Until it wasn't. Halfway through the evening, the crowd shifted toward the patio where Matt was grilling. That's when Ryan, a colleague from my office, came over, drink in hand, eyes sharp with something that wasn't quite casual. "Can I talk to you for a second?" Ryan asked. I nodded, expecting a work joke or a dumb bet. Instead, he leaned in, lowering his voice just enough. "Look, man, I don't want to be that guy," he began, eyes flicking briefly toward Vanessa, who was deep in conversation with Matt's wife. "But I think you deserve to know she's been seeing Eric." I blinked. "Eric?" I repeated, slow. "Eric, my coworker? Eric, who wasn't even supposed to be here tonight." Ryan exhaled, nodding. "Yeah, it's been going on for a while. I caught them together a couple times, after hours. I didn't want to get involved. But seeing you here tonight, standing beside her like nothing's wrong, it just felt wrong." I stared at him. My brain scrambled for excuses, explanations, anything. But then, a shrill laugh cut through the air. Vanessa's, and Eric's voice answered hers from behind me. I turned, and there he was, Eric, standing a little too close to Vanessa, whispering something into her ear as she giggled, fingers brushing his arm like it was the most natural thing in the world. Everything inside me snapped into focus. "Eric!" I called out, my voice sharp enough to cut through the chatter. The patio fell silent. Heads turned. Vanessa froze, her hand dropping like she'd been burned. Eric straightened, face shifting from smug to pale in a blink. "What the hell's going on?" I asked, stepping forward. Vanessa opened her mouth, probably to deny, probably to spin. But Ryan cut in before she could even start. "Why don't you tell him, Vanessa? Or should I tell everyone how you've been sneaking around with Eric for months?" Ryan's voice was steady, loud enough for every single person on the patio to hear. A hush fell over the group like a punch to the gut. Vanessa's face turned white, then red. "Ryan, you don't know what you're talking about. I saw you. Twice at his place. Once in his car. You think nobody noticed?" Ryan folded his arms. "Come on. Own it." Eric stammered, trying to explain. It's not like that. I didn't punch him. I didn't even move. The look I gave him was enough. He shut up, eyes darting toward the ground. And Vanessa? She didn't even try. She just stood there, silent, exposed. Matt's wife grabbed his arm, whispering something. The crowd shifted, uneasily scattering into hushed pockets of disbelief. I didn't make a scene. I didn't shout. I just looked at her, really looked, and walked back inside. That night ended in silence. I left without her, without a word. The marriage ended a few weeks later. But the truth? It ended on that patio, the moment her mask cracked, and everyone saw her for who she really was. The morning after the gathering, I woke up to a dozen missed calls from Vanessa. I didn't answer. Instead, I packed a bag and drove to my brother's place across town. I wasn't ready to face her or anyone else. The silence inside me was louder than any fight could have been. By noon, Vanessa showed up at my brother's doorstep, tears in her eyes. "I can explain," she whispered. I stared at her, the woman I had built a life with for 5 years. The woman who now stood there, mask gone, stripped of her charm and rehearsed smiles. "You don't need to," I said flatly. "Ryan already did." She flinched. It didn't mean anything with Eric. It was a mistake. A stupid one time. I raised a hand. "Stop." Her lip trembled. "Please, don't throw us away over this." I gave a bitter laugh. "You did that, the moment you made a joke out of our marriage behind my back." She cried hard, right there on the porch in front of my brother's stunned wife. Begged me for another chance. Promised it was over. Promised she loved me. But I wasn't 18 and naive. And love? Love doesn't come with betrayal stapled to its back. By the end of the week, I filed for divorce. Turns out Vanessa had been seeing Eric for nearly 7 months. Ryan wasn't lying. I even found hotel receipts, old texts, and God knows what else. Eric quit his job 2 days later. Probably couldn't face me or anyone else. Vanessa tried everything, fake apologies, guilt trips, even threats of hurting herself if I didn't come back. I stayed firm because I finally saw her for what she was, a woman who didn't love me enough to stay loyal, but loved herself enough to fake everything. People talk. Our friends, they all knew. The story of the patio showdown spread like wildfire. Some sided with me, some ghosted Vanessa. A few tried to stay neutral, but most saw the truth for what it was, clear as the night Ryan called her out. As for Ryan, he became a real friend after that. Said he couldn't watch a good man get played like a fool. Matt still throws parties, but Vanessa's never invited. Neither is Eric. And me? I moved on. Life's quieter, simpler. I learned to trust again, but smarter this time. And every now and then, when someone brings up that infamous night, I don't feel anger. I feel relief. Because sometimes the best thing that can happen is having your heart broken by the wrong person. So it's finally open for the right one. 2 months after the divorce was finalized, Matt hosted another gathering, a reunion of sorts. He invited me, said it was time I came back around. Time I stopped hiding from the mess she made. I showed up, different this time. No ring, no shadow of her clinging to me. Just me, free, steady whole. The backyard was full of familiar faces, most of whom gave me nods of quiet respect. I guess when a man walks away from a broken marriage with his head held high, people notice. And then Eric walked in, alone, no Vanessa on his arm. The patio went dead silent, like the ghost of that night still haunted the place. Matt looked at me, eyes questioning. "You good?" I smiled. "I'm great." Eric avoided me all evening. Couldn't even make eye contact. Word was Vanessa dumped him after he lost his job. Guess he wasn't such a catch when there was no paycheck and no secrecy. Later that night, Ryan stood up with a drink in hand. "A toast," he called out, voice loud enough to cut through the low music. Everyone turned. "To honesty," Ryan said, raising his glass. "To real friends who don't watch you walk into a burning house. And to snakes who get caught before they bite again." The crowd laughed, sharp, knowing. I caught Eric's eye across the patio. He knew exactly who Ryan was talking about. So did I. And in that moment, surrounded by real friends, by people who had my back, I raised my glass, smiled, and said loud enough for everyone, "To snakes, may they choke on their own venom." The cheer that followed wasn't just for me. It was for every man or woman who ever got burned and still walked away stronger. That was the night I knew I wasn't the fool who got cheated on. I was the man who survived it and came out better